Hi, I'm Brooke from Outside In, and today I'm going to share a few ways to help support your houseplants through the seasonal shift of spring. As new growth emerges and we start to see green outside, the houseplants also start to notice changes in the environment. Also, some of your plants start to go semi-dormant over winter, you may have noticed. So during spring, your plants will start to emerge and enliven with new growth. And since your plant required less over the colder months, it's going to require a little bit more during the warmer months. So that'll mean more water, fertilizer, and you may have to change the position that the plant actually lives because the sun may have shifted. So you may start to notice already that your plant is requiring more water. So typically by the time we hit summer, your plant's going to need about double what it typically needs during winter. So if you start to notice your plant drying out a lot faster, then go ahead and start increasing the water gradually. I never recommend to keep any of your houseplants on a set schedule, like once a week, once every 2 weeks. Just because with every season it can change, and as the plant grows and the roots start to kind of coil around that base, your plant's going to need more or less depending on different circumstances. So you may start to notice that your plant wants more moisture, and this is actually also a good time to kind of look around and see how the light has changed in your space. So what is the plant getting in terms of sunlight? So most houseplants require indirect sunlight. So no direct sun rays shining on the plant. However, some dappled or morning or evening direct sun is typically okay. What you're going to do is just kind of start to track basically over the course of the next couple of weeks what that sunlight looks like. So basically the sun is going to angle differently in the sky, and a lot of times in winter the sun starts to shine further into your space because it's lower in the sky. So during winter as it's higher, or during summer as it's higher in the sky, you may start to notice that maybe you need to bring the plant closer to the window. The sun will be a little more harsh during spring and summer, so keep that in mind as well if your plant got winter direct sunlight. So just start to kind of track, see where the sun falls and how much is hitting or not hitting your plant, and how much shade basically your plant has, and assess and make changes as necessary. So basically you don't really want to move your plant all the way from one room to another. We want as little change and stress on the plant as possible, but sometimes that can mean moving it a few feet without compromising the health of the plant. So next is just general spring cleaning and maintenance. So you may start to notice that some plants have some yellowing, dying, browning, crispy leaves, and you can go ahead and start to trim that old growth away to make room for new growth to emerge. And if you even want to, you can start to trim away any leggy growth, however you kind of want the plant to grow, depending again on the type of plant. Basically, pruning is a way to redirect energy for the plant. So this is also a good time just to start wiping the leaves down. That's another spring cleaning hack that you can continue actually throughout every seasonal shift. And basically that just means that you're going to take a damp cloth and very gently wipe down the leaves. So if any dust, dander, or anything has started to accumulate and build up on the leaves, you just want to wipe it, not only so it's clean and your space is clean, but it'll help the plant absorb light better as well, so it's not blocking the sun, and it'll also help the plant breathe better. And the next spring step is assessing if your plant needs to be repotted. So over The colder months, your plant may have been a little more vulnerable than normal, so you typically want to hold off on any big changes like repotting and fertilizing. So now is a good time to start to kind of assess the plant and see if it needs to be repotted. So for instance, the snake plant is pretty large for this 6-inch pot, and you can see that roots have started to grow out of the bottom holes of the pot. So if that happens, typically a plant is ready to go up a size. During spring and summer, that is a really viable time to just go ahead and pot this into a bigger pot so that it gives room again so that the roots can start to expand a little further and support that new growth. However, with that said, it's always wise to be careful about repotting. So you don't want to repot just for the sake of repotting and just because it's spring and you want to. You want to make sure that the plant is always ready. And the next springtime step is fertilizing. So you may notice that some of your plants kind of slowed their growth throughout the winter, and if they didn't, then that's amazing, and maybe you live in a temperate climate where you can fertilize all year long. However, if you're used to those kind of brutal winters and your plant growth is stunted, then it's probably time to go ahead and give your plant a houseplant fertilizer of some sort during spring and summer months, and it's generally recommended that you fertilize about once a month, and always just follow the instructions for whatever fertilizer you buy and for whatever that specific plant needs, because it will vary across all plants. Another really great way to support sustained growth and success of your plants is it may be a great time to take your plants outside and let them summer in the warmer temperature. So if you live in a climate where it's not really getting below 50 at all during the day or night, then you can probably place your houseplant outside in a shady area, and the humidity and warmth from the spring and summer can really help the plant thrive to a new level. And always, before you bring it back in, you'll want to check for any pests that may have latched on. And speaking of pests, you may actually want to start checking more regularly during spring and summer. So checking the undersides of leaves, checking near the base, near any little nooks and crannies, just because a lot of times pests overwinter, or at least the eggs will overwinter in the soil. And during spring, they'll reemerge as things start to warm up and there's more viable conditions for them to live. So that is another thing that you'll just want to be on the lookout for. So I would check probably weekly for pests. And perhaps the most important tip for any season for your houseplants is just to hone your awareness. So just checking in regularly on all of your houseplants, checking for pests, just doing any maintenance, self-care for your plants, and monitoring how much sunlight, how much water they need, because it will all change throughout each season. So just being mindful and present with your plants can really be the key to success, not only plant parenthood, but your plant's continued life. So that's all for springtime steps, and just continue those steps into summer, and we'll be back with some summer steps to supplement throughout the next few weeks. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and if this was helpful